Welcome back to 2-Minute Tips. Today we're going to talk about group work. We know that group work is very beneficial for our English language learners for many reasons. It allows them to collaborate with their peers, and most importantly, it allows them to hear and to use the academic language of the classroom in a low-pressure setting. Group work is so beneficial that we should use it often in our classrooms. In fact, research recommends that for every 10 minutes of direct instruction, you should allow for at least 2 minutes of collaborative work, where students can unpack what's been presented. So how do we make this time really beneficial for our English language learners? Today I'm going to share with you 3 strategies: word banks, sentence frames, and gestures. Word banks are often used in our classrooms, but have you ever used them for group work? You should. You can use a word bank that's already on the wall in your classroom, like an anchor chart. You can print one out and hand it out to your students. In fact, you can ask them to tally every time they hear a word in the word bank or every time they use a word. Or you can spontaneously create one together as a group. So for example, if you're doing a unit on the Bill of Rights, you might come up with a word bank that includes James Madison, Congress, Constitution, Amendment, and Ratify. Having these words posted and drawing students' attention to them will help the conversations to be richer, and they will encourage your English language learners to use these new academic words. The second strategy I want to share with you are sentence frames. Sentence frames are used often when we write in our classrooms, but do you use them for conversations? Come up with a handful of sentence frames that focus on the skills you want your students to do. So for example, for group work, I like to use the phrases, "Interesting, I heard you say," or "I agree with you because," or "I have a question about what you said." And then lastly, asking the question, "What's your proof?" Having these sentence frames helps students learn the academic discourse of the classroom. They learn how to present information with proof. They learn how to clarify, paraphrase, question, and even respectfully disagree with one another. And then the last strategy accompanies these sentence frames. Add a gesture to each one. It will help your students to internalize how the conversation should go and what phrases they should be using. So for example, our first phrase, "Interesting, I heard you say," you might make your hands like parentheses because you're paraphrasing, summarizing, putting into words what you heard someone else say. "Interesting, I heard you say." When students want to agree with one another, they might give a thumbs up and say, "I agree with you because," and then share their reasoning. The third gesture you might include is maybe a rubbing of the chin. I question what you said because," and then they might cite a counter argument. And then lastly, it's always important for us to have proof for the things that we say. So they can ask, "Where's your proof?" These gestures can be used in multiple ways, and you can come up with ones that work best for you and your students. I hope that these 3 strategies will enrich the conversations your kiddos are having in your classroom and will allow collaborative learning to be really beneficial for your English language learners.